Okay, we're now on the second part of the topic. Let's start with, and the natural selection process relies on two factors. First, more offsprings are born than can survive when faced with the problems of climate, food supply, competition, predators, uneven diseases, which leads to a struggle for existence. Second, there is variation, sometimes imperceptible but nonetheless present, among offsprings within a species. And for evolution to actually function, the variations must fulfill two criteria. They should have some effect on the struggle to survive and multiply, that is, they should help to confer reproductive success. They should be inherited or passed from offspring to offspring, where they would impose the same evolutionary advantage. Freudian Revolution. Relating to the ideas or methods of Sigmund Freud, especially his ideas about the way in which people's hidden thoughts and feelings influence their behavior, especially with respect to the causes and treatment of dreams, and his methods in psychoanalysis, especially with reference to the importance of sexuality and human behavior. Sigmund Freud is credited for stirring a 20th century intellectual revolution named after him. The Freudian Revolution, C.G. Shlomo Freud, also known as Sigmund Freud, was born to Galician Jewish parents, Jacob and Amalie Freud, in Moravian town of Freiburg, in the Austrian Empire on May 6, 1856. Human personality. The adult personality emerges as a composite of early childhood experiences, based on how these experiences are consciously and unconsciously processed within human developmental stages, and how these experiences shape the personality. Not every person completes the necessary tasks of every developmental stage. When they don't, the results can be a mental condition requiring psychoanalysis to achieve proper functioning. Psychoanalysis based on the concept that individuals are unaware of the many factors that cause their behavior and emotions. These unconscious factors have the potential to produce unhappiness, which in turn is expressed through a score of distinguishable symptoms, including disturbing personality traits, difficulty in relating to others, or disturbances in self-esteem or general disposition. Each stage is processed through Freud's concept of the human mind as a three-tier system. ID, the most primitive of the three structures, is concerned with instant gratification of basic physical needs and urges. It operates entirely unconsciously. For example, if your id walked past a stranger eating ice cream, it would most likely take the ice cream for itself. It doesn't know, or care, that it is rude to take something belonging to someone else. It would care only that you want the ice cream. Ego, in contrast to the instinctual it and the moral superego, the ego is the rational, pragmatic part of our personality. It is less primitive than the it and is partly conscious and partly unconscious. It's what Freud considered to be the self, and its job is to balance the demands of the it and superego in the practical context of reality. So, if you walked past the stranger with ice cream one more time, your ego would mediate the conflict between your id, I want that ice cream right now, and superego, it's wrong to take someone else's ice cream, and decide to go buy your own ice cream. While this may mean you have to wait 10 more minutes, which would frustrate your id, your ego decides to make that sacrifice as part of the compromise, satisfying your desire for ice cream while also avoiding an unpleasant social situation and potential feelings of shame. Superego. The superego is concerned with social rules and morals, similar to what many people call their conscience or their moral compass. It develops as a child learns what their culture considers right and wrong. If your superego walked past the same stranger, it would not take their ice cream, because it would know that that would be rude. However, if both your id and your superego were involved, and your id was strong enough to override your superego's concern, you would still take the ice cream. But afterward you would most likely feel guilt and shame over your actions. Freud believed that the id, ego, and superego are in constant conflict, and that adult personality and behavior are rooted in the results of these internal struggles throughout childhood. He believed that a person who has a strong ego has a healthy personality, and that imbalances in this system can lead to neurosis, what we now think of as anxiety and depression, and unhealthy behaviors. And that's all for this topic. Hope you learn a lot.